Okay. We will call the special meeting of council to order for Monday, March 30th at 1:05 p.m. I'll just do a brief roll call just for those that are on YouTube. Everybody in attendance is Mayor and all of Council, Councillor Masterman, McMillan, Cooey, Moore, Kinghorn, and Nychuk. Everybody's here. CAO Chris Prosser is here. Legislative Services Kara Rusk is here, as well as our CFO Ola DeMeggi is here. So everybody's got the agenda. So I'll ask Councillor Nychuk for a motion that council adopt the agenda for the special meeting of council March 30th, 2020 as presented.
Yes, Mayor Snodgrass, I make the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Votes, Councillor Nychuk.
In favor.
Kinghorn.
In favor.
Councillor Cooey.
In favor.
Councillor McMillan.
In favor.
Councillor Masterman.
In favor.
Councillor Moore.
In favor.
Motion is carried. Cancellation of regular council meetings. Is there anything to be spoken to on this one, Chris, or are we just going to roll with it because it's self-explanatory in the motion?
Your Mayor Snodgrass, if we can just roll with it,
Being recorded, man.
I think it's self-explanatory in the motion. Certainly, it's a little bit different than what we're used to as canceling our regular meetings and just calling special meetings when we need to.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask Councillor Moore. Councillor Moore for a motion that council cancel the March 23rd, April 14th, April 27th, May 11th, and May 25th, 2020 regular council meetings in accordance with the recommendations released by the Alberta Municipal Affairs, and that council may call special council meetings on these dates at 1 p.m. on an as-needed basis. Can you give me that motion, Councillor Moore?
I give you that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Any comments to the motion? None. Councillor Moore, with your vote, obviously is a yes. Councillor Masterman?
Yes.
Councillor McMillan?
Yes.
Councillor Cooey?
Yes.
Councillor Kinghorn?
Yes.
Councillor Nychuk?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Moving on to the next one, postponement of public hearings. Same kind of thing. Hey, Chris, there's nothing to really be spoke about. It's the public hearing for the fire hall. Laneway is all it was. We'll move that.
That's correct, Mayor.
So I'll ask Councillor Kinghorn for a motion that council direct administration to postpone the public hearing for the closure of the laneway adjacent to the fire hall that was originally scheduled for April 14th, 2020, and that council further direct administration to return to a future council meeting to reschedule the required public hearing.
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you. And your vote in favor?
Yes.
Councillor Nychuk for the vote.
Yes.
Councillor Cooey, vote.
Yes.
Councillor McMillan.
Yes.
Masterman.
You bet. Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Ray, can we ask a question?
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just curious if this has any impact on the work moving forward.
Mayor Snodgrass through to Councillor Cooey, at our conversations with Alberta Transport is that they'll still support us moving forward with the building permit and the development permit process. So it shouldn't impede any of our work that we need to undertake within the renovations to the fire hall.
Thanks, Chris.
Good question. Moving on, Resolution 4, 2020. Again, regarding the fire hall. I will ask Councillor Masterman for a motion that council amend Resolution RC 65-2020 to read that council give first reading to bylaw 4573-2020, being a bylaw for the purpose of closing the laneway directly adjacent to the fire hall, 1010 5th Street Southeast, High River, and that council direct administration to return to a future council meeting to reschedule the required public hearing. Councillor Masterman with the motion, please.
I'll make that motion, what you said.
Yep, and your vote in favor?
I am.
Councillor Moore with the vote?
Yes.
Councillor McMillan?
Yes.
Councillor Cooey?
Yes.
Councillor Kinghorn?
Yes.
Councillor Nychuk?
Yes.
And my vote is in favor as well, if that matters, but I guess I forgot me off this list. Sweet. Motion is carried. Budget amendment, 0% tax increase. Chris or Cola to speak to this, either one?
Certainly, your Mayor Snodgrass, the intent here is to, based upon the incident that we're going through right now, is to reduce the 2.8% tax increase that we had proposed in the 2020 budget back in December and make that a 0% tax increase across the board. And with the recent information that the province is rescinding their 1.5% school tax as well, then the residents should see a 0% tax increase across the board.
Yeah,
I have a quick question.
Okay,
Just
Councillor Masterman.
Thank you, Chris. I was just, can you just refresh our memories what the tax increase was that we approved back in December for COLA?
Certainly, it was a 2.8% tax increase, which equated to about $9.15 per month per household on an average assessment. So it totaled to about just over $105 and change on an annual basis.
Thank you.
Councillor Moore, question?
No.
No?
I want to make a clarification.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah, clarification.
Okay, Cola first and then Councillor Kinghorn.
Okay. Yeah, just to, in addition to what Chris mentioned, for 2019, we had underpayment of 82,000 on education tax that ideally we're supposed to levy it and collect it back this year. We have paid, but we've not levied the taxpayers. So my questions to council is, should we wait till next year to recover the 82,000, or you want to give us direction to recover it now? So instead of 0%, we may be talking about 0.something%.
Chris?
Mayor Snodgrass, I think we could find that 82,000 within our current operational budgets. We can reduce training. There's several different accounts that are going to be affected by this COVID crisis. So I think we could have a true zero and just recover the $82,000 that we were supposed to put forward by recovering it from not doing some work within our training programs or some of the casual staff that we've recently had to lay off as well, so that we recover some of those costs.
Recreation staff, et cetera, kind of stuff. Okay.
Question.
Does that sound fair, Cola?
Not really, because there are two separate buckets. The municipal tax is different from education tax. The education portion, we're supposed to recover it from the taxpayers. Last year, we did not, because the province did not give us the numbers on time. So I'm talking of the education portion, not the municipal portion. If it's municipal one, yes, we can reduce expenses, we can do anything of such.
So so I'm understanding this, the education piece.
Yes.
And so we can either carry it forward, is that right?
Yes, we can carry it forward and recover it in future years if we don't want any impact this year.
Chris, or can we use our own funds for that?
If council wishes to use their own funds, that is certainly a council a decision that council can make. In essence, this is a 2019 bill that was not collected in full from the taxpayer. So it's a 2019 piece, but we could certainly use 2020 tax revenue to soften that blow.
Right, to me, there's the clincher though. Is it fair to say that some of us have paid that full amount, but this is outstanding collections? COLA?
No,
This is under payment. We did not levy as much as we're supposed to.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
So it's underpayment across the board for everyone.
Across the board for everybody. Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
perfect. Councillor, so the question is whether we want to, well, there's three things. I'm going to go to Councillor Kinghorn while I scribble some notes here.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is clarification that this is not going to impact the COLA that all of our staff are going to get for this year. That's still going to be in place?
that's correct, Councillor Kinghorn.
Thank you.
Other questions? We're gonna have to do probably a separate motion on this 82,000, I would think. Or I guess it doesn't get us to a 0%, does it? So if we pass this motion the way it's written, so let's do something first to clean this up. I'm going to ask for a motion from Councillor Cooey that council direct administration to implement a 0% municipal tax increase for the 2020 fiscal year, and that council further direct administration to return to a future council meeting to adopt the 2020 property tax bylaw with the 0% municipal tax increase incorporated into the bylaw. Councillor Cooey?
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you.
And your worship, just as a clarification point, this is direction. This is not adopting the bylaw. This is direction to bring back an amendment, budget amendment to council with a 0% municipal tax increase.
Okay, so we still got a chance to look at this 82,000 because that's a very good point that Cola brought up. We can still bring that back after you guys have a look at it as to what our options, clarifying our options as to how to deal with that, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Any other questions to the motion before I call the question? None? Councillor Cooey with the motion, and your vote is yes.
Yes.
Councillor Nychuk?
Yes.
Councillor Kinghorn?
Yes.
Councillor McMillan?
Yes.
Councillor Masterman?
Yes.
Councillor Moore?
Yes.
Motion carried. My vote is yes as well. But it's worth. Now, one piece I forgot to do at the start of this meeting is I could just have all of council and staff just to stand up, just to make sure you've met dress code for today's online meeting. Or don't. If it's inappropriate, please remain seated. And they have all remained seated.
I'll remain seated.
I'm standing.
I'm standing.
Yeah, good. Next item, the waiver of penalties. Anyone to speak to that? Chris?
No, Mayor Snodgrass.
For a good 2 years on this, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. We've discussed this several times, and this is just basically a waiver of any penalties for utilities and tips payments at this point in time. We are reviewing other payments as well, depending how long this incident lasts. And this will not necessarily deferral, but it certainly encourages people not to have to pay on the due date at the end of this month for their utility.
Okay. It's not a waiver of the actual payment. Their payment is due.
Yeah.
The Sun Country was phoning me this morning just to get clarification on that, just so that everybody knows that's watching on YouTube that your bill will come due. It's just you won't be penalized or have interest attached to it if it's a bit late. That's the only change. So ask for a motion. Councillor McMillan, please, that council direct administration to waive penalties and interest on utilities and tax installment payment plans for a 3-month period ending June 30th, 2020.
I'll give you that motion.
And your vote in favor?
Yes.
Sorry, Greg. Sorry,
Go
Greg.
ahead, Paula.
Yeah, just a little comment. I mentioned to Chris earlier, this voting for 3 months waiver, it's only for January, February bills. Usually January, February bill is due in March, but we are saying, okay, take 3 months. By the time we do March, April bill, which will be due in May, so we may need to come back to council for another 3 months to be able to deal with March, April. Just to
Understandable. Yep. Thanks very much, Cola. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions to the motion?
Yes.
Councillor Moore?
In this motion includes taxes, right? So are not most tips through direct debit to people's accounts? How do you not make a payment then?
Yes, for tips.
Asking for a friend, Don?
No, no, I'm just wondering about that. That if it comes back, NSF or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know about direct debits. If you don't have enough money in your account, it wouldn't be debited, right?
Yes.
But that's the only way that you can net some payment then on your taxes for the normal average taxpayer. So how do we, I think probably a very large percentage of the taxpayers are on the TIPS program, and they're probably mostly direct debit.
Yes, I can respond to that. Yes, you are right. About 60-70% of our taxpayers on TIPS, and usually we pull the money directly from their bank account. And what happens is that if they don't have sufficient funds, the payment will be returned NSF. And we notify them, not only that, we charge them penalty of $80 for NSFs. So, but with this resolution now, which means we will not charge anybody on TIPS for NSF, and we will not drop them. They will be on the scheme, but also we give them the opportunity, those who want to withdraw from TIP, they can do that now. Before, they cannot do it.
Okay, so this motion, COLA brought up that it's only for the first utility payment of the year, January, February. But what about taxes that are due on June 30th? If people aren't on the TIPS program, are the taxes still due and payable with interest on the June the 30th date?
No, that will be part of the property tax bylaw that will be coming back to council with in May. And from the direction from the province is that June 30th should be extended to August. But we'll come back to you in May when we are coming with the property tax bylaw so that council can give us how many months are we comfortable with. But definitely June 30th will not hold any longer.
It's there has to be kind of a warning out there that you're not missing the payment, you're only missing interest on it, and this can build up for a future date. And so it's not a great idea to take advantage of that. Okay.
Any other questions to the motion? So the motion made by Councillor McMillan. Ask for the vote of Councillor Nychuk.
In favor.
Councillor Kinghorn. Councillor Cooey. Councillor Cooey. I'll come back to Councillor Cooey. He's doing some dog management there. Councillor McMillan.
Yeah, I made the motion.
You did, yes. That's be a good one for me to remember. Councillor Masterman.
In favor.
Councillor Moore.
In favor.
Councillor Snodgrass, Mayor Snodgrass in favor, his worship. Councillor Cooey.
Nixon and I are in favor.
Okay, so we are on item number 5.1, being compensation for legal expenses. So I will ask for the motion. So I am going to go to Councillor Kinghorn, asking for a motion that council authorize administration to advise Matwichuk and Goodman that they will not be compensated for any costs associated with the proposed purchase of their lands.
So moved, Mayor.
For the vote, Councillor Kinghorn in favor, Councillor Nychuk.
In favor.
Councillor Cooey.
In favor.
Councillor McMillan.
In favor.
Councillor Masterman.
In favor.
Councillor Moore.
In favor.
Mayor Snodgrass in favor. Motion is carried. Anything else before we adjourn? I think everything went well. All good. This is the way it's going to be done for a while yet. So to all our YouTube fans, thanks for attending.
Come back again soon.
Y'all come back now. Yep. Okay, meeting adjourned, 1:47. Thanks very much, Kent, for all your work in the IT department making this happen. Meeting adjourned 1:47.